Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for our first ever Intermodal EXPO webinar for exhibitors. Today, we will be discussing how to promote your presence before, during, and after Intermodal EXPO. I'm Angie Mogensen. I'm the Director of Conferences and Events at IANA, and I have Edgar Martinez with me as well, who is the Exhibit Sales Manager at IANA. First, we want to thank you for your partnership and participation with IANA in Intermodal EXPO. The purpose of this webinar is to make sure you are aware of all of the tools available to you to help promote your presence, as well as provide some strategies to help you market your company to Expo attendees. So after the webinar, our hope is that even if you are a seasoned exhibitor, you're going to be able to walk away with one new strategy, tool, or piece of knowledge that can help you market your company at Expo. When we started putting this together, we took a look at a study on attendee floor engagement that was conducted by CEIR, which is the Center for Exhibition Industry Research. So in 2016, CEIR collected data from various business-to-business exhibition organizers and exhibitors on specifics of their approaches to engage with attendees on an exhibition floor. And they wanted to find out what tactics are most popular and which approaches enjoy high use by attendees. One of the results of the study identified the top 5 ways that attendees engage with exhibitors. Attendees are going to engage with exhibitors through talking with sales and marketing staff, talking with their technical product experts, talking with an exhibitor's executive management, talking with exhibitors at receptions, lunches, or meetups in booths, and then talking with product users in a peer-to-peer interaction area. So with those first 3, you can see that who you elect to have in the booth is very important to attendees. It's not just your sales and marketing team that can be effective, but also your tech experts and executive management. The 4th tactic, the receptions, lunches, and meetups and booths, that's really facilitated by IANA. And so we've designed the program so that attendees should not have to leave the floor once the exhibit hall opens both days. We will provide lunch in the hall on Monday and Tuesday when the show floor is open. There will be snacks and beverages throughout the afternoon in the hall on both days, with Monday being the longest period that the exhibit hall is open. We open bars and serve light hors d'oeuvres in the afternoon. And there are no education sessions that happen off of the show floor when it is open, so as not to detract and pull people off the floor. Referring back to that study, the 5th tactic of product user peer-to-peer interaction area, that's where IANA's dialogue box can come into play, and that will be discussed later in the presentation. Let's move on to what exhibitors should be doing prior to any promotion. Some of you more experienced exhibitors probably know all of this, so please just bear with me. So the first thing you're going to want to do is identify what do you want to achieve at the show. And just a few common reasons that exhibitors give for participating in shows are lead generation, brand awareness, relationship management, new product service launch, product interaction, experience promotions with target audience, demonstrate thought leadership in the industry, ID distributors, partners, and suppliers, and address past servicing problems. So once you have your list down, you want to determine a primary overarching goal that achieves your reasons for exhibiting. It should be measurable and realistic. So for example, if it's lead generation, a sample goal might be to collect 25 solid sales leads for the show and convert 75% of those leads to actual sales. And once you've determined your primary goal, you'll need to create objectives to help you accomplish that goal. If we use the goal listed above, some of your objectives might include sending targeted invitation emails to registrants based on a priority level. Level 1, meaning you must engage. Level 2, you should engage. Level 3, engage if you have time. And level 4s are not applicable. They are not considered a customer of your product or service. Another objective might be to develop a presentation for the exhibitor dialog box that addresses how your company's product or service benefits the industry. So once you have all that determined, it's very important that everyone in your booth, from marketing and sales to the executive management team, is aware of those goals and objectives and have the resources to help you accomplish them. So we're going to dive into some pre-show promotion tools. First one available to you from IANA is the Intermodal EXPO Pre-Registrant list. So approximately 4 weeks before showtime, we will provide you with a list of all registered attendees. That list is going to contain full contact information unless, and there are two there, unless they've opted out of sharing their email addresses or they are a resident of a European Union country and they did not opt in to sharing their contact information with exhibitors. If you don't know, the European Union's General Data Protection Regulation, or GDPR, went into effect on May 25th. And this regulation is regarding privacy and protection of personal data of residents of the EU. Major fines can occur if a company violates that GDPR. So if you need more information about it, I've just put up a website that you can visit that can kind of help you determine what your company may or may not need to do in terms of GDPR. All right, so back to the list that we're going to be sending you. We do ask that you try and use it strategically and target individuals or companies versus sending out those blast emails to the entire list. We're going to probably have around 130 exhibitors, and if all exhibitors are sending blast emails to everyone on the list, there's going to be more and more attendees opting out of providing their email addresses, and so we want to try and limit that. And lastly, we will provide you with an updated registrant list about 2 weeks prior to Expo. Second tool we have is the VIP Customer Trade Show Pass. So IANA offers all exhibitors an allotment of these passes. And this pass is going to allow your customer access to the exhibit hall on Monday, September 17th, and Tuesday, September 18th for free. And these passes are intended to help you reach out to new or potential customers. We'd ask that exhibitors limit those passes to customers who have not received that type of pass previously. And if you're unsure whether one of your customers has received it from another company, you can always feel free to reach out to us. We keep records of that and can let you know. So you can reach us via phone or email. The number of VIP customer trade show passes that was issued to your company was included in the email from Chanel Casey regarding registration and housing. And within that email, there's a link, and I'm going to pull that link up right now, that lists, all the directions and requirements, and then the area where you can fill in your information as a referring company and then your customer's information. So that'll get submitted to us, we'll vet it, and then we'll let you know via email if they were approved, and we'll get them registered. Just one note I do want to point out here is that if you are going to use any passes, you must register your customers by Friday, September 7th. Because we cannot do any types of these types of registrations on site. All right, the next tool we have for your use is the Intermodal EXPO 2018 logo. We encourage exhibitors to use that EXPO logo in your email signatures, your social media pages if you have them, on your websites, in targeted email invitations. We do have a logo licensing agreement that needs to be completed. And there are requirements for the use of the logo, such as the fact that IANA needs to view and approve materials to be used, that the logo can't be used in any manner that would suggest that IANA endorses or approves of your product or service. And there are a few others, but they are all listed on the logo licensing agreement. And just as an example, we did have one exhibitor go ahead and request the logo from us, and they've created a nice graphic, and I just wanted to show you that as a possibility for something that you might like to do. They've included their booth number, they've included the Expo website that you can go to for more information. If you'd like to use the logo, you can request it and the licensing agreement from Chanel Casey by emailing her at scasey@intermodal.org. The next tool we have is the actual Expo website. We have a lot of information on our website, including the exhibit hall floor plan. So if you go to www.intermodalexpo.com and you go to the exhibits tab, and you'll see an exhibits drop down. You want to click on that, and you scroll down, and there's the floor plan. And that'll take you straight to the floor plan. And this is a really great tool for attendees to be able to look for you on the show floor, also to be able to search by selected product categories that we have entered into the system, and it pulls up all the exhibitors that meet those product categories. So one way you might want to use the Expo website is, if I go back to this graphic here that Universal created, if this was an email signature, you could actually embed a link to expo.com or straight to the floor plan right into that graphic. And so when they click on that graphic, that would take them straight to whatever link you provided. The next tool we have is social media. And social media is a great way to get the word out about your participation as an exhibitor at Expo. IANA does have a Twitter handle, and it is @Intermodal. And we do have a hashtag for the event. It's #IANA Expo. So please, if you also have a Twitter account, please follow us, as we do tweet about Expo, and we would appreciate any retweets of those announcements. And we'll also make an effort to do the same if you are tweeting using our hashtag. IANA also has a LinkedIn page that you can follow. It's under Intermodal Association of North America. And we do post updates involving Expo that you can feel free to share on your LinkedIn pages, and like and comment as well. You could also promote your presence on Facebook. And while IANA doesn't have its own Facebook page, if your company does, please feel free to share the Expo logo and links to the website for those interested in learning more. One question we do get asked about often from exhibitors is media lists. We do have those. We will provide it to exhibitors ahead of the attendee list being sent out. So if you have a new product or service to announce, this is a great way to get that information to some trade publications. So you can contact our Manager of Digital Communications, Alex Stogren, at alex.stogren@intermodal.org for more information and to request the media list. Another tool we have available for you to promote your presence is through our Intermodal Insights and some advertising. Right now, we're in the process of putting together the July-August issue. Now, these issues are in print and digital. The print will reach 1,400 members. The digital reaches 6,000 member contacts, and with this edition, it's actually going to reach 7,000 UIIA motor carriers in digital as well. So the editorial highlights very quickly for this issue are e-commerce and intermodal, inland ports, how many more and where, 28 logistics M&A, what role for intermodal, technology, cybersecurity, why it matters. There's various size ads you can purchase at differing rates. If you're interested in that, you can reach out to Maggie Miller for more information. And just as a side note, artwork for this issue would be due July 9th. So in addition to Intermodal Insights, you might want to consider advertising in trade publications that cater to the audience you are looking for. If buying an ad, a full-page ad or a half-page ad, you might want to consider including the Expo logo somewhere, down in the corner. It says, come visit us in booth 254. There are also some trade publications like the Journal of Commerce that will send out emails to their subscribers on your behalf, and you can narrow that down and target it to specific segments of the industry as well. Another tool from IANA to consider using is the Expo mobile app. Invitations to download the mobile app are going to be sent out to all registered attendees in late August. Within the app, there's a feature to include an attendee list, and it's another avenue exhibitors can use to reach attendees, as you can send messages via the app. So this is the app from last year. We're in the process of developing the 2018 app. But you can see there's a attendees icon there. If you're just to click on the attendees button, it'll open up and list all the attendees that have been uploaded into the system, and attendees can go in and add information to their profile. But once you click on a attendee, it'll open up some more information about them. And you'll see right under their name and title and company, there's a little area where you can send them a message. You would click on that, you can type out your message and send it to them directly. As another note on the mobile app, all exhibitors will be listed in the mobile app as well. You can see there we have an icon for attendees to click on to see a list of the exhibitors. We know we are in the process of collecting your exhibitor profiles and contact information, and so we will upload all that information into the app, as well as a map that pinpoints where you are located in the exhibit hall. So you can see the location of Kalmar from last year was 602. If an attendee was to click on that, it's going to take them exactly to where their booth is found on the show floor. You see there's also an option to include your logo, and there is a fee associated with that, but we'll talk about that later. The next tool that I had referenced earlier in the presentation was the dialog box. IANA has a dedicated presentation area that's located in the exhibit hall next to the sales office on the left-hand side. This area is for exhibitor presentations only. If exhibitors are interested, we would create and present a 15-minute educational session that addresses how your product or service is solving a problem and or benefiting the intermodal industry. I believe we do have a few spots still available, and so if any exhibitors are interested, you can reach out to Edgar. His information will be on the last slide of this presentation, and he can provide you with more information on what types of requirements and information we need from you in order to set up a dialog box presentation. I'm going to stop there and see, Edgar, if we had any questions about any of those pre-promotion tactics or anything like that.
Thank you, Angie. We do have one question that came up, and it is, if we completed the logo licensing agreement last year, do we have to complete it again for this year?
Yes, you do need to complete it every year. So if you just request it from Chanel, so she'll send you the logo licensing agreement, and we'll get that taken care of.
All right, so let's move on to on-site promotion and engagement. So on-site attendee engagement tactics are a core element of exhibiting. So thoughtful integration of the tactics and metrics that tie back to your goals can help you to achieve those goals. If we refer back to the SEER study discussed at the beginning of the presentation, it also identified the top 5 ways that attendees like to engage with products at an exhibitor's booth. And those are through interactive product displays. So whether they can see your product, physically handle the product is a great way for you to engage with attendees. Badge scanning by exhibit staff for product information follow-up. IANA does offer lead retrieval services through a company called ATS. Their order form is going to be in the Freeman online service kit that's going to be sent out later in June. Attendees like to see printed product information, so your printed collateral materials. Attendees also like the ability to purchase products on site. I know that's not really something that we see very often in our show and in the industry, but just bear in mind that this study was done through the entire events industry, not just one segment. The fifth one is interactive screens and tablets for product promotions. IANA works with an AV company called EventLink. They do have the ability to provide interactive screens and tablets to exhibitors, and their order form will also be included in that Freeman service kit that'll be sent out later in June. I just wanted to share a few examples of ways to engage attendees with the products that we observed last year at Expo and came up in our pictures that we could share. So we did have one exhibitor had a simulation where the attendees were able to simulate operating equipment. Here's an example of an exhibitor who brought a large piece of equipment that the attendees could climb onto it, to get into the cab there, look at it underneath. So it's very interactive and hands-on. If you don't have a product that necessarily can be handled, maybe it's more of a service, this exhibitor had computer apps so that they could share the service. They had some comfortable seating so attendees could sit down and rest their legs after walking around the show floor all day and be comfortable as they heard a presentation. Not every product or service is going to lend itself to this type of interactivity, so the engagement tactics will need to be different. And exhibitors are going to have to find creative ways to engage those attendees, which is going to bring us to other engagement tactics that can influence attendees. This is part of that same SEER study that I talked about in the beginning. And the first way is through giveaways. So useful or unique giveaways like individual charging power banks for phones and other devices can be great giveaways. When IANA exhibited at another event, very popular for us were these kind of leather-bound expo journals. Those seem to go pretty fast. Other ways to engage are games that help educate attendees about products in a fun way. So maybe you developing some type of game through virtual reality or augmented reality. Third type was raffle prize drawings to capture leads. IANA did this as well. We had a fishbowl and we collected business cards for a raffle. Ours was for a free expo registration. You know, yours might want to be for the hot new trendy item out there or something similar to that. I've seen exhibitors give out lighted bracelets that light up at various times when the show floor was open. And if your bracelet lit up and you were the first person back to their booth, you won a prize of some sort. Fourth type is games that give attendees a chance for fun but don't really have any linkage to products that can help draw attendees to your booth. For example, might be a basketball game. You take a shot. If they make it, they get a $5 Starbucks gift card or something comparable to that. And lastly, something that can get attendees around to your booth are the amenities. Food, beverage, maybe bottled water, cookie, granola bar. I would also do this at when we're exhibiting at other shows as well to kind of get people to come over and talk with us and engage with us. Those types of things can be ordered through the convention center. The food and beverage provider is Premier, and their order form is going to be found in that Freeman online service kit. So just one note, exhibitors that use multiple ways of engaging attendees versus just one or two are going to have a higher success rate of attendee engagement than those who don't use multiple ways. Again, I just had a few examples pulled from last year's photos of some of the things we just talked about. We had an exhibitor had set up a virtual reality. This one in particular didn't really have any linkage to the product. It wasn't promoting anything. It wasn't how it was utilized, but it was just something fun that got attendees to their booth and had them engaged in some way. There was another exhibitor also that did have virtual reality. They did actually tie it to their service. And we had another exhibitor who just included a game, I think it was the cornhole toss game, to engage attendees and get them active and over to their booth. And one engagement tool that I mentioned, augmented reality, it's not something I've ever seen on our show floor, but it looks very interesting, and so I just wanted to show a very quick clip of what that is in case you weren't aware of it. So basically, augmented reality is taking your reality, what you are physically seeing right in front of you, and you put these special glasses on that are going to layer pieces of information over top what you're actually seeing. So this is an example from Caterpillar. So you can see she's walking around a piece of equipment. This guy's walking up, he puts on the glasses, and all of a sudden all this information starts to pop up and appear overlaid over the product. So I am not suggesting everyone run out and develop virtual reality and augmented reality, but I just wanted to show you some interesting ideas you might not have thought about in terms of your product and service. All right, on to the next engagement tool provided by IANA, and this is one that exhibitors just need to participate in. Through our mobile app, we have a Expo Connections game. It's a game where attendees get points for performing various tasks like attending the welcome reception, going to the general session, checking in at registration. They're also going to get points for visiting exhibitors. So prior to the opening of the show, we are going to deliver a code to your booth, which you can display for attendees to enter once they visited your booth. So you can see in that third picture, there's a QR code. That's if they haven't downloaded the app yet, they can just scan that. Then once they're into the app, they'll go to Expo Connections in the menu. They'll enter the passcode in the passcode box that's at the top, and then it'll assign them points for having visited you. And that's just a fun way for attendees to get around to all the booths and meet the exhibitors. We have winners each day. Top 5 point leaders each day will get an American Express gift card. Another option to promote your presence at Expo is through the Expo Program Guide. We do have advertising opportunities available there. The program guide is actually going to be printed and digital. The printed version will be distributed to everyone on site at Expo. And the guide has the entire complete information about the events, sessions, social activities, and it will have a list of all of the exhibitors, company descriptions, your contact information. Like I said, you have an option to include your logo if you'd like. The guide is also going to be sent electronically to attendees about 1 week prior to Expo. So they'll be able to look through and kind of sort exhibitors by different products that they're looking for so that they're prepared when they come down to the show floor. If you are interested in advertising in the program guide or putting your logo in the program guide, you can follow up with Edgar. And like I said, his contact information will be at the end on the last slide. And one more option to promote your presence there is we do have Expo-specific advertising and sponsorship opportunities. We still have several options available. I think there's a few column things left. We have water bottles, charging stations, networking breaks. All of these are at different or varying price ranges to meet budget needs. And if you're interested in that, you can follow up with me or Jim Morrow after the webinar. And lastly, we wanted to talk about the various networking opportunities at Expo as a means of promotion. So we have several events during Expo that exhibitors should really be attending and using to make contact with attendees, because sometimes those might be your best opportunity to snag a prospect that might not be able to get down to your booth or get down to the show that day. So we have the Sunday evening welcome reception at the Hyatt Regency. We have the Monday evening party on the promenade and a closing food truck rally on Tuesday. Both of those are scheduled, the two afternoon parties there are on Monday and Tuesday are scheduled to take place right outside the convention center, so it really can capture the attendees as they're leaving the convention center for the day. One other thing we wanted to note was that often we see a lot of exhibitors going down to the trade show floor during the educational sessions that occur on Monday and Tuesday morning. And just want to make sure everybody knows that all exhibitors are invited to attend the education sessions, and we encourage you to find sessions that are important to you and your company and your customers, and ask that your booth staff attend those sessions. And in between them, we do have networking breaks that happen outside the education rooms, and that can be another great way for you to catch someone who might not visit your booth directly. So what happens after Expo? As you all know, the follow-up is just as important as the pre and on-site. So as soon as you can after the show, review your lead retrieval data and your collected business cards or notes. Send an email to all the contacts you made, thanking them for visiting and providing information on your company to refresh them of your meeting. Consider calling those real hot leads as a follow-up to your email as well. And many people have kind of moved away from direct mail in the past few years, relying more on digital marketing. So that could be an opportunity to stand out by sending a direct mail follow-up piece that contains information on your company and its products or services, or if you have special events or going to be at other shows, might be another great way to announce that via direct mail. You are also going to receive a post-show registrant list that will include all the on-site registrations processed, as well as those who registered beforehand. So it'll be a comprehensive list. So if there are people you wanted to reach but you didn't, you can send them a, sorry, we didn't connect email or something to that effect. And you also might want to consider some post-event advertising in Intermodal Insights as a way to keep your name out in front of the industry. There are 2 additional issues after Expo, the September-October issue and the November-December issue. So the last thing we wanted to highlight for this presentation was, what is IANA doing to promote the event? We have various email campaigns going out to past attendees, members, and prospects. We are doing targeted direct mail drops to prospects located in states in the west and southwest region of the U.S. where Expo will be held this year. We've had digital and print advertising occurring in the leading industry trade pubs, the Journal of Commerce, Transport Topics, American Shipper, Progressive Railroading, American Journal of Transportation, and DC Velocity. We have targeted advertising campaigns going on LinkedIn. We're utilizing a paid search feature, which is on the internet, is used to drive awareness of the event. We're doing programmatic retargeting, which identifies users who have visited the Expo website, and then as they're looking on Googling other things, we would provide them with additional advertising about the event. Usually that happens kind of right over on the side. IANA has been exhibiting and attending other events to promote Expo. We're working with entities like the U.S. Department of Commerce to bring in international delegations. And we're also working with all the local trade associations for additional promotion of the event. So at this point, I'm going to see if Edgar has any questions.
Hey, Angie, we have one question. Will IANA be sending the pre-registrant list or another company?
Okay, so that is going to come directly from IANA. It'll either come from myself or Claudia McNatt, who is our new conferences manager.
Another question, how do I get my logo in the program guide and in the mobile app?
So if you want your logo in there, you're going to reach out to Edgar, and he'll be able to set you up. And I'll put up his contact information here in a second. Do we have any others?
Where can I see which sponsorships are still available?
So if you go to intermodalexpo.com, there is a tab up at the top that says sponsorships, and you'd be able to see all the sponsorships that are still available on the website. You can also reach out to me or Jim Morrow. So that brings us to the end. We really appreciate you joining us for this first ever Expo webinar. We hope that you found it informative. Our next webinar is going to be July 17th, and it's a first-time exhibitors tutorial, just kind of walking through people what to expect at the show. Freeman will also join us online in case anybody has any questions about the service kit. While it's geared towards first-time exhibitors, you might also want to just listen in and see if there's any new information in there as well if you are one of our experienced exhibitors. So please feel free to contact Edgar or I if you have any questions. Our contact information is up on the screen. And thanks again for your partnership and participation with IANA and Intermodal Expo, and we look forward to seeing you in Long Beach.